My name is Johnny Wheeler. I teach video production here at the University of Wisconsin-STOUT. Who I am is a deeper question. I'm a Pisces. I enjoy making soup. I am a husband and a father of 2 boys. I like to make art, and I like to make movies, and I like to teach. ADHD, what is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? Is that right?
I think that was right, yeah.
And then, what it means to me, it's such a strange thing. I was diagnosed with it just not even that long ago, 3 years ago. I was in a therapist's office, and I knew at the time that I suspected something like that was happening, but I purposefully didn't want to shade the opinion of the therapist, so I never mentioned it. She had me take a test after talking with me for a few hours, and she came back at me with like, "Do you know what ADHD is?" And I'm like, "I have an idea." And so she let me know. She gave me the option for medication, which I turned down, and she said that there were other things I could do that would help with that, which I kind of continue to practice now, I guess. I have a million copies of every tool that I own because I'll lose them, and I'll lose them almost right after I set them down. And I'll try to remember to put them back in the same place that I'm supposed to be putting them, but when I'm wrapped up in a project, I have no sort of like conscious awareness that I'm even holding a tool sometimes. So I'll just look to the next thing I need to do. I'll set down a screwdriver, and then 5 minutes later, I'll need that screwdriver and I won't know where it is. And after years of that, I would just buy a new screwdriver, and I have like 100 screwdrivers. And it kind of drives my wife crazy, because she's like, "Why did you buy a new screwdriver?" And I'm just like, "Well, because I can't find my other screwdriver." And she's like, "You have like 100 screwdrivers." I didn't think that was weird. I thought that everybody did that. I really did. I really thought that everybody kind of had that same process. And it wasn't until I was a high school teacher 11 years ago, when I started working with students who have diagnosed ADHD, that I had a lot more in common with those students than I did with other students who didn't have that diagnosis. Anything that makes any student different than any other student, that is their superpower. There's a great Kurt Cobain quote where he says, "Just be yourself because everybody else is taken." So the idea that you might have mentors that you look up to, but if you're trying to be like them and being less like yourself, and worse yet, taking a part of what makes you different and tamping that down and saying that's bad, it is such a mistake. The thing that sets you apart is your superpower. ADHD in my life has made it so that I am ultimately a better artist and designer than I possibly could have been without it. So do I believe that ADHD should be taken seriously? Hell yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, every way that our brains work should be taken seriously, and not, nobody should pretend it's not the way that our brains work. To pretend that is to live in a fantasy world of delusion and madness. And I think that we should all work really hard to understand each other, because if we can understand each other, then we can get along better, and we can work better together, we can make better things, and build a better society. My main tip is to treat it like a superpower, like lean into it, find a way to make it work in your life. Don't try to pretend you don't have it, and don't try to pretend like you can live a life without it. Know that it's a part of who you are as a person, and it's not going to go away, so you might as well understand as much as you can about it and use it to its fullest potential.